Well, number one is like you got to think big. Like, so I always say here, this is your Olympics. It's only gone on every 4 years. You've put in a huge amount of time and effort to get there. So you got everything you do, you got to think big. Like. So never hold back. And it's when you need to arrive a few days early. Because like over here, you've ferries like to France, and people are arriving on Saturday night. you know, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like. Are you
Yeah.
nuts? Like. There could be something wrong with your bike, like and all. So I always think it's always very important to arrive early. And then like financially, like as well, like if it's the difference between sharing a hotel with someone who snores and having a single room, go for the single room. So I just say think of the Olympics, and always think. I know people are a certain age and they're thinking, well, I'm only 35, I'll have loads more of these, but you mightn't.
Yeah.
You never know, never knows what's going to happen in life. So always remember that, might never be here again, and that might just spur you on to finish it out, if you're having a hard time.
Great tip. Yep.
And yeah, and the other thing is obviously everyone's going to go through a low period, and easy to say when you have time, but I mean, in my opinion, there's very few problems can't be solved by stopping and sleeping and
Yeah.
eating and gathering your thoughts. And then if you're feeling low, if you're thinking I'm out of here, go 10k beyond the control and make your decision. And if you go out 10k and you're not enjoying it and you're thinking, no, it's not happening, but
Yeah.
you could think it's not the end of the world. I'll keep going.
Smart. Yeah.
Because like if you pack, like you still to get back to, just to be on a practical, you've still to get back to Paris, like which could take a lot longer to do the cycling.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, they might have been a bit negative actually. So the other, like what we always say in Ireland, we always say always finish smiling.
Cool.
So you got to remember why you're there. You're there to do it, and to enjoy yourself. So it's always important, like not to come back and say, I should have, I could have, I would have. It's just this is the time you're there. You have that 90 hours or whatever, and it's just about managing that time and making the most of it, and enjoying it,
Paul. Yeah.
and doing the best for you,
Yeah.
like you
Paul,
know.
you're very wise. Okay. Really good tips. I appreciate it. And obviously,
Don't know about that,
obviously, you have a certain amount of credibility when you give these tips.
No bother,
Okay.
Peter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nice
Nice
talking to you.
talking to you.
My first tip is I think you have to have a mantra,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
I can do this. I have a dumb one that I like to repeat. Every pedal stroke I take is one less that I have to make. And that mantra, it's like something repetitive in my head that helps me not have the monkey mind intrude as much, I think, on something that's that long. My second tip is belief. You show up at the start with the belief that you will finish. That for me is so important. It gets me in the right mindset.
Yeah.
And that belief comes from training appropriately and managing myself, my energy, my nutrition up to where I get to the start and know that I've done everything that I can to have a successful ride with, in my case, with my partner, and that we've worked out all the kinks in our bike and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how we need to look out for each other. So belief is my second tip. I think that is just so powerful. I think it's, if you say, I'm going to go and see how I do, you are not setting yourself up for success. So, belief. And then the third tip is do what the tandem says. And we talked about this yesterday. The tandem momentum, as Ed has said, is different than a single bike's momentum.
Yeah.
And so you're going down hills faster, you're going up hills probably a little bit slower than many or some of the single bike riders can do. And that's okay, but you have to accept that that's your momentum, that's how the bike is going to ride, and manage the event accordingly so that you're not a menace for other riders, and you're not fighting your bike to try to ride with a bunch of single riders when your momentum isn't aligning with that. So do what the tandem tells you to do.
All very
Tip
spiritual. I like all of those, Mary. Very good. Ed, you want to give us your 3?
Yeah, mine are a little bit more practical, but they get me through these. The first one is just eat and make a plan of where you're going to eat. So we know where we're going to eat because we try and stick to a normal day's eating. We try to have a breakfast, we try to have a lunch, we try to have a dinner, and not just nibble or get snacks or hope to find food somewhere. We pull in and eat at the cafeteria. As tiresome as that becomes after 4 days, we still walk into the cafeteria, get a tray, and sit down and eat it, no matter how overcooked the chicken is. The second one is sleep. We book a hotel room in Ludiac going both ways, and we look forward to that bed. That it's not in a dorm. We look forward to that hot shower in that bed. It's really motivating. And then if one of us is getting drowsy, we pull over and take a nap. So I think sleep, the old advantage of eat before you're hungry, counts for sleep too. I don't want to fall asleep on the bike. And my third one is a little bit more, I wouldn't say spiritual, but I've come to really feel that PBP goes best when you engage with the volunteers, you engage with the families that support the roadside stands, and you engage with some of the riders around you, especially if you sense someone needs a kind word or a little bit of encouragement. And so I feel like the more engaged we are, not only does the time go faster, but it's a more rich experience. And Mary said, I studied French before this last PBP, and it was kind of amazing because if we spoke just enough French to a French rider to introduce ourselves and say where we lived, it was like pulling the cork out of the champagne. And we had these French friends with us all of a sudden, speaking faster than I could keep up with. But we've gotten to know people at the controls now who recognize us from past PBPs. And we've also gotten to know, like you said, we had a great group together in 2019 with the San Francisco group led by Rob and with Roy and briefly yourself. But the less you treat it as a sports event and more as a cultural experience, boy, it makes for some great memories. So that's and eat, sleep, and engage.
So first is get a bike that is comfortable. It doesn't need to be the best of the best of the best bike, but you need to feel comfortable. If you're not comfortable on a bike, that's a major draw. Okay. Second is try to figure out how your body reacts to not sleeping. Okay, sleep deprivation, and adjust. You need to know if you can sleep half an hour and it's all. If you're the type of guy who does power naps, or you have the guy that maybe needs to sleep for 6 hours. Okay. The other thing is, even if you're not the plan type of guy, do a small plan so that you can keep track of yourself, especially if you're riding alone, because time flies when you are tired. Okay. Yes, that is I think those are the 3 things that I would point out.
Cool. Pedro, excellent points. It's been a complete pleasure, and I hope to see you in a few years' time at the next PBP, okay?
Thank you, Peter. It was nice talking to you.